Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. And as always, thank you for all your support, including sharing, chatting, liking, and subscribing. Now roll that famous logo animation! Good evening and welcome back to Computerized Start Live! I'm your host, Justin D. Morgan, and we are finally live. Let's adjust this. Yes, and the dinosaur's live too. Alright. So, let's see here who we have in the chat. We have Jack68K. Hi, Jack. We have Kevin. Hi, Kevin. We have Sadmac356. Hi, Sadmac. We have CMD Big Mike. Hi, Big Mike. Alright, let's see here. Well, we got the Coffee Go. Link is in the description. And because I sold some things on eBay, we actually have the following.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our favorite segment, Wheel of Regrets. Here's your host, Justin D. Morgan.
Hey, who comes with these titles anyway?
Yes, we have one package here. Comes to us from an eBay seller in Washington State. So hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in Washington State. Kevin says 103 in Omaha today, 111 heat index. Wow. Head Jack says now that the stream started, it's time to go start cooking dinner. All right, we have some newspaper. We have some repurposed priority mail packaging and more newspaper. Toss that off to the side here. And there we have a peripheral card-sized package. In fact, there's a hint. Oh, of course they would put the packing slip in with the card. Oh. Oh, no, that's not the packing slip. That's a thank you note. Ah, very well. Nope, it's not a VIC-20. But it will be paradise if it works. Because we have a Paradise high-res 4.4 video card from Western Digital. So this chipset is the same one that's in the Emerson 8000 EC. This is a CGA chipset that's Plantronics Color Plus compatible. And because of that, it's got 64K of RAM there on those two RAM chips. Yeah, those red resistor packs look really nice, along with those yellow resistor packs and the green capacitors. Ooh, and we have some, we have a danger tantalum there. Jack says, yeah, because the color of the components matter. Yes, we have a tantalum cap there that looks awful lot like the ones IBM used. So, we may be recapping this before I test it. Oh, no, actually, that's a 25 volt one. that actually might be fine. I would say if that was a 16-volt one, I'd be replacing it. However, if it's a 25-volt one, we'll just double-check there's no shorts on the board. Because it's less likely to be damaged. That's probably a tantalum, but that one's probably not on the 12-volt rail. Alright, I mean, it does look like it's in good shape. Yeah, I thought I saw some... I thought I saw a pin that was out of place, but no. It's just the... it's the curve of that track that got me. Okay. Yeah, the ones that IBM used that are always explodey, IBM used 16-volt tantalum caps. And the reason why they're explodey is because IBM really should have used 25-volt tantalum caps. Because tantalum caps are rated at their max voltage. And for a solid tantalum cap, I believe you want a 100% D rating. Assuming I've got the terminology correct. So, in other words, if you've got a solid tantalum cap on a 12-volt rail, you want at least a 24-volt rating. Because that's its absolute maximum voltage. Since 24 volts isn't an option, you go up to 25 volts. Electrolytics, they are rated for nominal voltage, so that electrolytics have some built-in capacity for overvoltage spikes. So you don't have to derate them as much. Generally, I think... I don't remember what the rule of thumb is. But anyways, yeah, IBM for the 12-volt power rails on the IBM PC and the XT and the whatnot. They should have really used 25-volt tantalums, but they used 16-volt ones. So that's why they have a higher chance of going pop when you power them up in modern days, is because they... Trying to clean up my bench. I left a messy bench for myself. Of course. Anyways. Since they were... a lot of old power supplies, I guess, had poorer regulation than they do now. A lot of times they... Yeah, I think the 16-volt ones are weakened by accumulated overvoltage of those spikes that were really above its operating condition. And it also could be storage conditions and whatnot. And that's not to say that a 25-volt one might not go pop too, for other reasons, but... Yeah, I think the reason why I've read that they likely fail is the repeated overvoltages when they were last powered up. Oh, hey, Joseph Norris, welcome. Yep, I'm here. Took me a couple moments to get motivated, but I am here. Alright, so we got our video card. We will probably test it later tonight. Or, well, we'll see how far we get. So... Tonight, I wanted to look at the IBM floppy drives, and I was thinking that even though I wanted to start with the ones in the 5150, I think I've got another floppy drive that is the same mechanism, and I'm actually kind of inclined to take a look at it first, and recap it, and I guess relubricate it. Because it's not in a computer. And that way I can kind of practice, or make sure I know the process on it before I then try to get the ones out of the 5150. If that floppy drive works, it might let me swap mechanisms. Because it's also IBM branded. So let me go get that drive and the caps, and we'll start taking a look at floppy drives. Because it doesn't really matter what order I look at them in. I am ultimately going to recap all of the IBM floppy drives I have, because tantalums. I don't like it when they throw temper tantalums. So we'll start with the one that's not in the 5150, and we'll go from there. Because it would also let me have a spare one on hand. So let me go grab that. It's just over on a shelf. All right. So we'll start with this hand and floppy drive. Let me get this bubble wrap out of the way. All right. Oh, wait. I'm trying not to roll over bubble wrap. Seems like I have bubble wrap coming out of the woodwork. All right. So let's see here. We're going to need that. And we're going to need that. Let's take a look at this floppy drive here first. So I can get my bearings. So this floppy drive I bought from LNY Electronics. Actually, probably, but I'm kind of thinking it might have been 2 years ago. It was as is, priced at $35. It was old. And, or, you know, maybe it was when I bought there was like 2 beige PCs I bought from them. I might have bought this at the same time. Anyways, I think I want to say that I kind of negotiated down to somewhere in the like $25 to $30 point. I think I was buying a couple things. So I'd have to go back and to tell you exactly when I bought it, I'd have to go back and rewatch live streams where I showed off things I bought at LNY Electronics. But anyways, so on the tandem floppy drives, there are a couple of tantalum capacitors. That are 4.7 microfarad. And I believe they are these blue ones. I believe. Because I think the rest are like... Actually, there might be an orange one too. Let me get the microscope out so we can try to look at printing. Okay, that orange one is is a tantalum, but hi, Jason, welcome. We have Jason of Gupbomb Industries here. Yes, we have an IBM branded Tandem floppy drive, and I'm trying to figure out where the tantalums are. There we go. Yeah, I think on this drive they are blue. And I believe there are like I bought 50 replacement caps. And I was thinking there might be 8 total. Oh, I have multiple drives that need recapped, Jack. I think there's 8 on each drive, and I think I estimated that I have a total of 8 of these floppy drives. Or, not 8, 6 of them. I think's how I came up with ordering 50. Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or maybe I have 7 floppy drives and there's 7 each. Something like that. So I count 7 of these 4.7 microfarad 16 volt tantalum caps that I'm going to replace with 25 volt ones. Let me see if there might be, is there one on the analog board? No, there's a couple of electrolytics on the analog board. So for what Jack says 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. I don't see. Oh. I completely, yeah. You got me there, Jack. The Sesame Street song. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And now the audience has the song stuck in their head too. All right. So we have 7 tantalum caps on this board. That's the number we're going to replace is 7. I mean, this one's also a tantalum cap, but it is rated at 35 volts. So we are going to leave it alone. Also like a 0.68. So I think it's a 0.68 or some weird value. We're going to replace the ones most likely to go pop. Jack says, only those of us of a certain age know the reference. Yes, sadly, once the animation got really, really old-looking, Children's Television Workshop probably redid another Count to 12 video to replace it. But they sure got their usage out of the animations they did back in the day. Yes, it was the Pointer Sisters. That did the, I think it was them. Yeah, they did. I think they did the part of the song where they count to 12. But then I think they had other narrators that would do the like voicing in their animation showing the number. But I think it was the Pointer Sisters that did the like opening song. I mean, but it was an animation. So, anyways, here we go, reminiscing. While I'm trying to find the screwdriver that has run away, run away, run away. Oh, there it is. I accused it of running away, running away, running away, and it was right beside me. All right, so it looks like there are two screws holding the board on. And then we'll have to remove the cables. All right, fortunately, the cable order should be easy to remember because this is cable 5. So if I put the drive like this, to put these back, the numbers get bigger as they get closer to me. So 5 and 6. And then, yeah, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. And then there's going to be some spare pins here. So as long as I start with the largest number closest to me, and the number labels are all facing up. Now let me double check. Yep, they're... Yeah. They're printed on the top. Now, these have printing on the bottom, but they're different numbers on the bottom. So I just need to remember 5 and 6. And we should be good. I will probably put some deoxit on these. Some of these are kind of hard to remove. Probably because they've been on for so long. I'll put some deoxit on before I put those back on, just to make them a little easier to remove. And there we go. The PCB is now free, and that will also let us clean the drive mechanism and the heads and relubricate, because that actually kind of looks a bit gross inside. So luckily I've got some brushes here, so we will clean that up and relubricate. We'll clean it up, we'll relubricate, we'll make sure that's all working good. I don't see anything of the belt. I think the belt's pretty good. It's in good mechanical shape. The door's not broken, so there's that. Yeah, that'll clean up nice. But let's get this PCB first. All right. So there is a copper shield on the bottom. I think the shield, looking at where the shield is probably to reduce interference from the PCB that might interfere with the drive heads. All right, try to see if I can find something to unclip the... Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. That'll work. I just need to squeeze the... Yeah, that goes back like that. So okay. I will not be able to put it on backwards because it will interfere with the power plug. Kevin is asking, are belts still sold for drives like that? Yes. Console 5 has belts. So I would be able to buy a new belt if I needed it. But I think Tandon was using the fabric rubber belts at the time, which is a higher quality belt, and a lot of them are still good. So I'm not. The belt felt like it was in good shape. Now, normally I would recap the entire drive, but I'm just doing these tantalums. Because all the other caps seem to be in good shape. But those tantalums are kind of... Those tantalums have been known to pop. Alright, so they are all marked with polarity. Alright, let's go to microscope view. Let's double check that the polarity marks are correct. While we wait for my desoldering. While we wait for Claris to warm up. Alright, so... Yep, there's the positive mark there on the board, and there's the positive mark on that cap. I can't read that one. Well, let's see if that helps. Oh, yeah, there we go. There's the stripe on that one. And the stripe on that one. Okay, so those two are good. All right. So there's that one. Yep, 3. Don't see the mark on the board. But, okay, so that one, the polarity's the same as the other two on the same row. Oh, hey, Thomas. Welcome. Yep, this one's got the blue pills. We are going to remove these blue pills. Yep, okay. That one's marked. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, they're all marked. So I can go ahead and... So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove all 7 caps, and then we'll install new ones. That's probably about the easiest. Probably the easiest way to get this. All right, so... Because all the polarities are marked correctly on the board. So let's go ahead and... Oh. All right, well, I got the cap out. And I got the solder out of the via. All right, so there's one little cap. All right, for those of you that might be seeing what kind of looks like a burn mark on the bottom of the board. I think that's actually ink. Hi, Ryan Labs. Welcome. All right. There we go. We got two little mean blue pills out. I chose poorly where to drop some oscillators. There we go. Oh, let me move that too. That's just going to fall. All right. All right. I think this one is here. Yeah, that definitely feels like the right component. There we go. There's three. And then these next two are, I think, will be this one. Right. And then that's going to be this one here. I think. There we go. I've got 5 of the 7 out. And then the last two are going to be this one here. And seven. All right. Just checking holes. I got all the solder out. Excellent. All right. So now that we got those caps out, I'm going to replace them one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Got seven 4.7 microfarad 25 volt tantalum caps to replace them with. Unfortunately, I could not get blue. I looked. Although not all the drives used blue caps, but I could not find blue. They do not make tantalum caps in blue these days. So, because the print is very tiny, let me double check. I think, there we go. So as long as I'm looking at the side that's got that print on it, the positive is going to be the longer pin. Yeah, longer pin. All right, that's good. I'm using 25 volt caps instead of 16 volt so that they have more resistance to transient spikes. There we go. There's two. 1, 2. Three. 4. 5. And I did check the polarity before I removed the caps for anyone that joined late. And I confirmed that all the positive legs were all facing the same direction. 6. And 7. Plus, 6 of the 7 positives are clearly marked on the board. There we go. So before I solder them, we're just going to double check. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, positive. There we go. And now that I got the new caps in, we'll go ahead and solder these in. Now, for anyone that might be wondering why in the world I'm even bothering to recap a floppy drive, well, I like this. I like the sound and feels of floppy disks. So I'm going to keep my floppy drives in service as long as I can. That's IBM's very easy to create disks for them. So And I'm replacing the tantalums because Tandon probably should have used 25 volts for some of these because they're on the 12-volt rail. And solid tantalums really need to have a for solid tantalums, you pretty much need to double the voltage rail they're working at to get your actual rating you should use. And for the ones that are on the 12-volt rail, well, since 24 volts isn't a valid voltage, you go up to 25. Now, some of these are quite possibly on the 5-volt rail, so recapping them isn't really necessary, but it's just easier to replace them all than try to figure out which ones are on what rail. So there we go. We've got new tantalum caps. And also, for anyone that's been watching the channel for a while, you probably do remember when I did power up the 5150 for the first time, we had a double tantalum. We had a double temper tantalum. And one of the tantalums that went was one of the tantalums on one of the floppy drives. So, and yes, I believe I did. For anyone that's wondering, well, did you check for shorts first? I did. As far as I remember, I did. There were no shorts before I applied power. So checking for shorts is not a guarantee they won't go pop. Checking for shorts really only guarantees that they weren't already shorted because they had already failed. Looking for my board cleaning toothbrush. I think it's been a while since I've soldered. I guess we can use the... I do at least like to... kind of clean the flux off the board that I just used. In fact, I'll just kind of clean the whole board so that it looks nice and uniform. I'm going to go through the trouble of cleaning the drive. Why not? Alright, there we go. Hey, Soccer Wrench, welcome. Soccer Wrench says, I've been missing the soldering. I have too. There we go. We got some new tantalum caps on this floppy drive to replace the old crummy blue ones. Alright, let's get some let's get to a little bit more cleaning on this drive while we let that PCB, the isopropyl flash off. All right, let's see if we can't. All right, let's see if we can't maybe. Well, try to knock some of this dust free. Drive isn't really in horrendous shape for a like 40-year-old floppy drive. All right. So now let's all right. So let me if I can get some swabs out. There we go. So I'm going to clean up the rails here. All right. Then I will apply some. Got some of this. All right, let me let that flash off. I'm going to use my deoxit lithium grease. It's got D100L in it. Also has no particles. So it's actually more of a translucent. I don't know if it's actually better, but I do like the thought that there's a little bit of deoxit in the lubrication. So I'm going to deoxit that linear bearing. Or attempt thereof. It's one of those things I saw at Micro Center, so I didn't know they made it until I saw some at Micro Center during a trip, and well, I got it, and it seems to work pretty good. All right, so there we go. Oh, this stepper motor feels kind of clunky. All right. All right, there's that. Now let me clean the drive head. And then I'm going to dab some of that deoxit. Hey, Jesse, welcome. And I'm going to dab some of that deoxit lithium grease on the pivot points of the door mechanism. All right. So that should be the drive head. Let's see if I can see the pivot points. this is safe for plastics. Ooh, oh, that feels better already. I just put some lithium in the track. Maybe I'll put just a very light coating on the top of the door. That does kind of got a little friction. That's good. All right. That feels pretty good. All right. I like it. Yeah, there are so many little cables. I agree. Hopefully I'll get them all reconnected right. Yeah, the door feels really nice. So, all right. So now let's go ahead and put the shield back on. So that we can get the PCB back in. I think, yep, there we go. And actually, let me not screw it in until I get these connectors back in. And what I'm going to do to make this a little easier, I'm just going to strip some deoxit down in there. So this is 5. And 6. They're not numbered on the PCB. I just remembered the order from disassembly. There we go. So 5 and 6. There we go. And then, hey, David Starbuck, welcome. All right, we will drop some, we'll start with 13 here on the end. All right, that feels better with some deoxit. And then we got 12. And then, where did 11 go? There's 11. All right. Then we have 10. And then we have 9. And then we got 8. There we go. And yeah, there are 4 empty pins there on the end. Also, there are brass threaded inserts that these screws go into, so I did not need to do the reverse thread it, wait for it to click, and then install, because it's going into a brass threaded insert, so we can just screw it right on down. All right, there we go. We got 1, 2, and our drive is back together. Was that easy? Yeah, it's just after 10 o'clock, and we got one drive pretty nearly refreshed. I wasn't trying to do a full refurbishment. I don't know that the drive needs a full refurbishment. We'll know after we try to use it. Although I am going to deoxit this edge connector. I don't know how long the drive went without use, and I think I got enough deoxit on my Q-tip that I don't know that I need to apply any more on the bottom side. Although maybe I will. All right. So now, yeah, I guess we need to see if we can't test it. All right, so let me see. Somewhere I've got some double density discs. We'll probably need to try to format one. Does the drive have a motor control? Oh, it probably. Well, I mean, I guess it does. It's probably fine. We'll let me see here. I guess the best thing to do might be to um, oh, wait a minute. I just realized the face of this drive is actually quite grubby looking. Thomas says the caps on the MC board can be erratic. Well, I don't have caps for that board. Yeah, if I got any motor control boards with erratic caps, I'll have to order caps and replace them separately. Ugh. Okay, the good news is I think the faceplate is cleaning up nicely. I think the bad news is it looks like this was in a computer used by a smoker, because that kind of looks like there's a nicotine component to that grime I'm getting off the faceplate. Jesse says, this drive is quite grumpy. Same here, Trav. Oh. Well. Alright, I don't know that the YouTube is necessarily going to... I don't know how apparent the difference is going to be on video, although... Yeah, okay, we're still, I may have to actually put Windex on a Q-tip. I would at least like the drive to look good, especially if I do a drive swap. Oh, that actually looks... kind of halfway decent. Sakarin says, looks like a baby bird from this angle. Feed me discs. Yeah. Alright, I'm going to see if I can't... Alright. You know, I bet if I took another paper towel and tried another pass, it still looks dirty. Oh yeah, there's still dirt on it. Alright. Don't necessarily need it to be perfect, but would kind of like to make it look like... I want it to look like I actually tried to clean it, since I went through the trouble of trying to clean it. And in some of the textured plastic, I can still see what it kind of looked like I hadn't actually cleaned it. Alright. Alright, that's... Alright, now that looks pretty good. There. I think that looks good enough that if I swapped it in a computer, you probably would... probably wouldn't necessarily know it came out of another computer. Alright. So I guess let me go... probably go grab the parts of the 5150 and see if I can find a double density disk, so we can Bessie says, you know what we need? Gummy floppy disks. Haribo, get on that. Hi, Sylvestron. Welcome. We just cleaned a Tandem floppy drive. There's the front now. And we replaced the blue tantalums that like to go pop, that we've seen go pop on this channel, with new ones. The oxided, that edge connector. Belt looks good. Motor control board might need recapped. We'll determine that. I don't have caps for the motor control boards. I'll have to order those separately, but 5 1/4 or 3 1/2. Oh, Sadback's asking 5 1/4 or 3 1/2 inch Haribo gummy floppy disks. I would say both. All right, let me grab a few things. I'll put you on hold while I go grab a few things, and then we'll get on with the next thing. didn't want y'all to think I'd completely forgotten about you, but I realized I don't know where my adapter is to plug a power supply into a 5150 motherboard. Or planar, or whatever IBM called it. A planar board. Some funny name. I'm sure I'll find some name that'll make everyone mad and break the internet. So let me see here. Because somewhere I have a voltage blaster. Beats me what I did with it. I use one of those. Somewhere I have an adapter that will create the negative 5 volts. Because I think I do need negative 5 volts for a 5150. Ah. Oh, it also would probably help if I had a keyboard, right? Oh yeah. What to do with my XT keyboard? Yes. This motherboard has been recapped. The floppy controller's been recapped. The multi IO card didn't have any tantalums. The CGA card I have here has been recapped. This the hard card controller card didn't have any tantalums that were underrated, so it's not recapped. I recapped everything that was most likely to go pop. And Sylvester says, oh good, they love to explode in your face. Ask me how I know, please don't. Jack, of course, then replies, how do you know? Sylvester on Vietnam S cap exploding flashback. Yeah. Oh, remember the 5150s, the computer I had that had the double tantalum go pop. When I checked for shorts and then powered it up for the first time. Yeah, it was the one that had the double tantalum go pop. All right. Um I'm trying to find my adapter. I don't really have room for a XT power supply on my bench. I may have to use an XT style power supply, and I'm not sure which one I used last time. Oh, maybe I have an AT power supply. That might be what I use. I might have used which I probably moved somewhere. Um, Sylvester says, I've got the footage of one of mine exploding in the 5150 restoration on my channel, but the really bad one from years ago that got in my eye, I didn't video. Oh. Yeah, bummer. Or as us and us YouTubers go, that is a shame. I'm sorry I didn't get it on video. If you know, you know. Yeah, that's one of the, I promise we'll do better next time. Next time we still mess it up. Somehow. Can't tell you how it seems to always happen that way. Yes, I'm still trying to spot the power supply I used last time to power this up. Sylvester says, why do you think I didn't replace it from the get-go during the restoration project and got it on film? Wink. Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Where did I... I think I'm going to have to go on another expedition in the basement to find a power supply. Yes, because... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, nope, that's an ATX power supply. Never mind. Yes, it does look like I'm going to have to go on and... let me double check. Somewhere I have a voltage blaster. You plug into an ISO slot and it gives you negative 5 volts. Wait, do I need negative 5 volts? I don't remember. Jack says, I'm probably going to regret saying this, but I've never had a cap explode on me. Transistor, yes. Alright, let me go find a power supply. I'll put you back on hold. Okay, I finally found one. I was about to give up for the night. Because it's like 84 degrees Fahrenheit at the workbench. Hey, Mike's Future Retro, welcome. Alright. Mike says, I am headed south for VCF Southeast in Atlanta next week. What were the names of those electronic thrift stores you go to in Virginia? Or was it Maryland that you mentioned in the past? Alright. Well, there's L&Y Electronics in Woodbridge, but last time I went, it was not the same. There were fewer deals to be had because I think they're under new ownership. So I can't guarantee if you stop there, you're going to have the same experience that I have in the past. And then I don't know that I would necessarily go out of your way to stop at them, but I do know several YouTubers shop at Savers. Savers. But I would only stop at a Savers if you're like right there, or if it's like right off the interstate, because they're hit or miss. There's no guarantee they'll have electronics. But I know, like, if you watch like V West Life or 8-bit Show and Tell, I think it's V West Life is the one that he seems to all the time have something he's found at a Savers. Then again, though, I think he lives further north and possibly in a better tech bubble than I do. So anyways, yeah, it would be L&Y Electronics, which I guess if you're in Woodbridge, you could stop at Be Thrifty, but they can be hit or miss. Very hit or miss for vintage electronics. It'd be L&Y Electronics would have vintage electronics, is the one we've stopped at, but they're under different ownership now. Yeah, Woodbridge is... I don't know how far it is to I-95 to Woodbridge. Hey, Sorcerer Stan, welcome. Yeah, L&Y is probably the one you were interested in, but I thought I should make sure you knew they seem to be under new ownership. If Retro Tech Chris was in the chat, he could chime in, but he would probably agree with me that was kind of our thought. Yeah, it's been a while. All right, so I finally found an AT power supply. I think it should be working. I just realized that I plugged it into power and then plugged the motherboard, and I am full sending things a little more than I probably intended to, but luckily the power switch was off. All right, so I'm going to put the hard card in this slot because I need the weight there. I kind of need to jam something under the board. There we go. All right. So hopefully that will keep the... I was afraid that the board was going to tip the other way if I didn't put something there. I would like to put something between the hard card and the PCB, only to prevent shorts. A piece of paper should do it. Because it's not, I have nothing to screw it into. Just basically this test, I want to make sure things power up. All right, so there's our floppy controller. And there's our cable. And we'll plug in our newly recapped Tandem floppy drive. Has drive A. And let me see here. That needs power. All right, there we go. So, hard card, floppy controller. I got the AST multi-thing plugged in so that we have extra RAM. Let's see here. I guess to make sure that I have the RGB to HDMI configured correctly, I will use a standard CGA card for this first go around. I did get it to power up last time. I think you might have remembered last stream I was lamenting that something seemed to be wrong with it. I don't know what was wrong with it, but I did get it to power up. So, and it is currently configured for CGA. All right. Oh, the right plug is not turned on. All right, good. All right. So for this first power up, I just want to see that everything powers up. Although I should plug a keyboard in. I should plug a keyboard in. All right. Where is my keyboard? All right, hold a moment. I think I've got a IBM keyboard. Well, I know I've bought an IBM keyboard. Oh, there it is. Here it is. All right. And for this first power up, I am going to stand behind my super secure blast shield. 3, 2, 1. All right, that's good. Oh. Yes, I believe my microscope still has the... Oh, it does. What do you know? Oh, there we go. And we got a C drive. We have MS-DOS version 5.0. I am trying to remove the plastic film. I guess now that it's been identified as plastic film still on camera, we have the obligatory heel shot. Now the top of my microscope is shiny. Kind of wish no one had noticed that. Oh well. Alright, so we booted to the hard card. That's good. Sylvester says, cue tech moan. Oh yeah, take it off music. Yeah, I don't have that queued up. Alright. Alright, so I do have the format command. Sakarin says, better. Alright. Let me see if I can grab a double density disk that is likely to be blank. Okay. It's not blank, but it has nothing on it of use. So let's put our disk into our freshly recapped and cleaned floppy drive. And let's press enter. I don't think the floppy drive likes to be on its side, but it seems to be working. Sakarin says you could always put a sticker on it. I might have to get rid of the shiny top, because that'll just be a reflection magnet. I think there might be some bad sectors on this floppy disk. It started re-going back to track 0 when it hit 80%. Let me see if there's any obvious... I don't see any obvious signs of damage on the disk. How about let me set this floppy drive in its expected orientation, and I don't think anything will get caught up in the mechanism, and let's try to format it that way. I'm gonna format the same disk. I'm thinking it might have the drive might have needed time to work the lubrication into the stepper rails. Also, I see that a eBay seller shipped an item. Which item shipped? Hopefully it was the item that I... Oh, good. Yes, it was the item I wanted cheaper than Amazon. It might be a regret. Spoiler alert, I also ordered one on Amazon because I actually will ultimately need 2 of them. So at least I got one for half price, and one that should be actually in the expected condition. If you know what I mean. It was a seller that used the stock image, so yeah. I don't normally do that, but they were charging... Oh, look at that! It actually formatted. I'm gonna format the same disk again. Oh. It's quick formatting it, because of course it is. We'll restart format with the /U. Oh, actually, you know, what we should do is test my new video card. Actually, maybe we should... Actually, I got an idea. Maybe we should sys the disk. And then try to boot from it. That'd be a good test of the drive. Jack says, I don't understand some eBay sellers manage to take such offensively terrible photos. Oh, well, in this case, they used the stock photo from Amazon in low res. And only that photo. However, they were selling 2 other items that had actual photos of the actual item, so I guess they couldn't be bothered to take a photo of that item as well. See, this is how I get eBay regrets. I don't want to pay the $40 Amazon wants, so I find a seller that I can get it for $20 total. Because after Prime Day, Amazon cranked the price up. Like, higher than it was before Prime Day. Well, maybe this... There we go. That's good. Jack says, well, I guess the stock photo doesn't tell you anything about the actual condition. Exactly. For all I know, I bought a scorched hunk of molten metal. All right, so we're going to take this CGA card out. This is the one that was in the 5150. It's like a third-party CGA card. Nothing fancy, but it works. And in its place, we are going to put this Paradise CGA card that I just got yesterday. I have no idea if it works. As the the parts people guy on his videos would say, let's find out together. 3, 2, 1. There we go. And we got a flashing cursor. That's good. Hey, Mega, welcome. Oh, yeah, it's PC time. All right, so we got a Paradise video card in, which actually supports Plantronics Color Plus mode. This is not the computer I bought it for, but it's totally a valid test target to make sure it works. I actually bought it. Oh, 60FF201. That video card might be in the wrong mode. Oh, we are booting. We did boot from the floppy drive, though. 60FF201. Sylvestron says 201 is RAM error. Interesting. Oh, did I not install Check It? Oh, I guess I did not install Check It. Okay. RAM error. Hey! JS? Let's see some Plantronics Color. Only game that supports it is Planet X3, Petsky Robots, and some Sierra games with a special Plantronics driver. Yeah, and I have none of them on this hard drive. 60FF is in Bank 1. I don't know that we actually have a RAM error, but... Alright, let's investigate. Alright, let's remove the hard card. Oh, I'm wondering if we have a, well, they all feel like they're in sockets. They're in the sockets. Alright. Let's see if it repeats itself. Without the hard card installed. Because if it doesn't repeat itself with the hard card uninstalled, it was probably the... I'm wondering if the hard card was flexing the board and one of the RAM chips was maybe not seating well. Despite the fact that I tried to put something under the board to support it. I think it's actually booting from the floppy drive. I'm not going to say that there's not a marginal RAM chip. There quite possibly could be a marginal RAM chip. I'll pull my thermal camera out to see if I see anything. They are 4164s, and I probably have 4164s. The only thing out of the ordinary I see is the one chip that has a gold top on it is like solid black on the thermal camera because it's got a metal top. And I don't see any of the other RAM chip that's running like any hotter than the rest. I guess we probably need to... All right, let's see if we can't get something on here to actually test the video card. I know I said this was a floppy drive stream, but well... Wheel of Regrets, we have a video card courtesy of Wheel of Regrets, so... That courtesy of me selling some things on eBay so that I could fund a small purchase with some of my earnings. Although, don't worry, I bought a few other things on eBay with some of my earnings. One of the items is for my, so I can actually build my new video editing computer. And one of them was a keyboard that I'd been watching for a while, and the sellers ended the auction, and I was afraid that meant they'd sold it, and then they relisted it, and I decided I'd better make an offer on it before they, like, decide that it's never going to sell and get rid of it. So, yeah, I made a best offer on a keyboard. I'm not going to buy too many things, though, but it was a vintage Emerson keyboard. It's probably XT compatible. Or it's possibly XT compatible, so yeah, you can do the math with all the Emerson computers I've had and figure out why I decided I wanted to make a best offer on it. Now, what was I trying to find? Oh, yeah. Find my, so I can figure out where my Gotek has gone. Hold on. I heard it. The connected signal is weak. Oh, it's 22. It's 22 feet from me. That's weird. What, I leave it at the door? Okay, so I found the GoTech. It was underneath something metal. So the distance was off. David Starbucks says, I had that feeling I was being watched, looked to my right, and yep, one of the cats was sitting on my computer tower staring at me. Yep, that tracks. Alright, so now I need to find an adapter so I can plug the GoTech in as drive B. I need a hard-edged 34-pin adapter. And I thought I had some with a K-Pro, but that was wrong. Alright, let me put you on hold so I can try to find one. I'll be right back, hopefully. David says, now I've got two of them staring at me. Second one is an infamous toe nibbler, so I expect to be reminded of that fact soon. Sylvester's asking, JS, GoTech can emulate 360K, so it should be fine. It should be. I do not have a floppy controller that supports high-density disks. Also could not find the adapter I need, so I've misplaced it. I thought I had a whole bunch of parts over with my K-Pros for an eventual, like, GoTech mod on one, and I've, like, not only do I not have any of the GoTech boards over with the K-Pro, I don't have any of the other parts, or many of the other parts, including the adapter boards, so yeah, we're not hooking my GoTech up to my IBM here. Because I don't have another... I don't think I've got another 8-bit controller card that has a different floppy cable. Because the IBM card, I needed an edge connector on for the two end drives. I don't think I've got another drive controller that works with 8-bit that takes a 34-pin cable. Alright, let me make sure there's not like one of those adapters hiding in my drawer. No. I don't have any controller cards that I know work. I'm not playing the go through the entire box of controller cards and find one that works game. I'm like kind of hot in the basement. I don't feel like doing that because that would require me to know where I stuck the box of ISA drive controller cards. Thomas says CF card works on the PC fine. That doesn't help me right now. No, I need to plug my GoTech into the floppy controller so that I can put the hard card back in and install software from floppy images. I don't have a cable that will fit this controller card that will let me plug that drive in as either drive A or drive B. I need the 34-pin to card edge connector. That's what I'm missing. I have multiple ones somewhere. Maybe I did finally put them in projects. Yeah, I don't have any of the 386 cables. That's the problem. All right, yes, let me see if I have anything else that I can use. Yeah, the IBM adapter uses an Edge Connect. Yeah, exactly. All right, let me see if I got anything else I can use on this system. Otherwise, I'm gonna call the stream because I'm getting hot and flustered. It's not a combination I like. We'll pick back up with the IBM on Thursday in any case. But all right, let me see if I can really quickly find something that will let us do what I'm trying to do. I don't know if the tape port works, and I have no tapes, so yeah. All right, this is going to be a Thursday problem, or rather, it'll be a a before Thursday problem for me to find some things so that we can try to continue on this Thursday. I did find a controller card that I can possibly use, but we'll have to recap it first. I don't have any. I don't have a tape adapter. I don't have anything to. I'm not set up for doing cassette tapes, so that's not an option tonight. I do not have a cassette adapter for the IBM. And I don't think I have a cassette player that I can use anyways. Mike says this is why we have general standards nowadays versus back in the day. Yeah. I no, I wanna load check it on this computer. I don't wanna I'm not I don't know why I don't have a TRS-80 cable. Why are we trying to load software from tape anyways? I don't have a cassette player. I I don't know why are we I'm is there some cassette program that I'm overlooking that will sorry, it's that time of the year where the basement gets kind of awful to work in, and I'm I'm not aware what cassette programs are available for the 5150, and I don't have a cassette cable, and I would rather just load programs from disk. Unless there's some amazing magic diagnostic program I'm not aware of for cassette. And I don't have a one ROM, so I can't just pop in there's a diagnostic ROM I could run. I don't have a one ROM, so I can't run it on the 5150. It uses the wrong ROM chip type. I can't just program one. Yeah, I mean, it looks like the floppy drive works. The Paradise card seems to work, although I'd like to see it draw pictures on the screen. IBM PC Diagnostics Advanced 1.02. Hi, Dave. Welcome. Mike says, I had that summer heat in my old house, no central AC. After 37 years in that house, it took a move to a condo townhome to realize some houses are just designed to trap heat in the summer. Well, I mean, my basement's not insulated, so it, and it's not fully underground, so it doesn't stay cool in the summer. Yeah, I can't write check it to an actual physical disk at the moment. Thomas says the power wires are melting out my way. Yeah, I mean, I've got a grease weasel, but I don't have a way of using the grease weasel here. I have no room on my bench to try to use the grease weasel. So I can't make check it disks. I mean, that might be what I do before Thursday is set my grease weasel up somewhere where I have enough room to try to write a few disks. That might work. But I don't have enough room on my bench to do it. So I guess that's what I'll do. I guess for Thursday's stream, I'll try to create some disks with my grease weasel, so that even if I can't use my Gotek, of course, granted, I'll make those disks and then I'll find the adapter I'm looking for. Just watch. Anyways, that's what I'll do. I'll make some disks with the grease weasel, so that at least we can install, check it, and I guess Planet X3 from floppy disk. David asks, don't have an ISA USB card. I just, of course, no. I refuse to buy such ridiculous tomfoolery. Also, I think it requires software to run, so I would run into a problem trying to run it. So, anyways, yeah, I think that's where I'm going to end the stream. I'm getting thirsty. I'm kind of, it's, I have somewhere. All right, hold on. I'm getting a bunch of questions. Yes, I have an XT IDE somewhere, but I don't think I have. I'm trying to remember if I have a working compact flash card with DOS already installed on it. Because for some reason, I was thinking that last time I used my last compact flash card that was set up for an XT class machine, so it would probably run fine on this computer. I was thinking I might have killed the compact flash card. All right, let me get to the rest of the questions, and then maybe I'll go look to see if maybe I do have one. I'll give it a quick look. David Starbucks asking, "Oh, those actually exist? Sounds like an AliExpress regret." Yeah, that would be my summary of it. Sylvester is asking, "Does the PicoMem work on 5150?" That I do not know because I don't have a PicoMem. Jesse says, ISA USB cards do exist. Yes, they do. No, the XT IDE card is not missing in action. I know exactly where the card is. It's the compact flash card that I think... All right. Let me go. There is one computer that the compact flash card would be in if it didn't die last time I used it. If there's a compact flash card in that one computer, we'll try booting it. If it's not in that computer, then it's an exercise for later in the week. I'm getting tired of putting you all on hold to find things. So, all right. No, I mean, it's 23 till midnight. All right, let me give one last... Let me look and see if I can find that compact flash card. I'll give it one... There's one computer, and the computer's downstairs. If it's in that computer, then we'll give that a shot. So... unfortunately, the compact flash card is not in that computer, which confirms my suspicion that the last time I used the card, it failed. So, I don't have a compact flash card set up to boot on a on such a low-end machine as this. So I think this is where I'm going to draw the stream for tonight, because I'm kind of getting flustered and tired and thirsty and hot. So, all right, we will continue with the 5150 on Thursday. I will. Jesse says, send Justin a bunch of 32 megabyte cards. Yeah, that's the other thing. I don't know. Yeah, that's going to be fun. I'm looking in my stash of cards, and I think the smallest one I have is like 128 megabytes. So, oh, that's going to be fun waiting for directory to run. And 64 megabyte, yeah. All right, so for Thursday, I do know where my grease weasel is, for anyone that's wondering. And I will go ahead and take it upstairs, but I do know where my grease weasel is. There is no need to fear. So for Thursday, I will attempt to use my grease weasel to write some floppy disks for the 5150. In fact, I will take my grease weasel and this box of floppy disks upstairs. That will be a good reminder. Actually, let me make sure there's enough double density disks in here to write oh, there's some MS-DOS 3.3 disks in here. Interesting. Alright, yep, there are a number of double density disks in here, so we should be good. Anyways, I will at least create a set of Check-It disks and a Planet X3 disk. I could, JS says I could use a VM to install DOS onto a CF card, but that's too much work for right now. Call me old-fashioned, but I usually just install it bare metal. One way to guarantee that I have an image that'll actually run on the machine I want to run it on by installing all the software on the machine I want to run it on. But yeah, I could use a VM, yes, that is a possibility. Anyways, JS says, I call you old-fashioned. Thank you. So anyways, I will try to create some disks for this 5150. The nice thing is, if I create disks with another floppy drive, then that will be a good test that this one's working correctly. Tries to think if I've got another... I think I've got another 360K. Or actually what I may do, because with the grease weasel, I can use a cable I've got. And I don't necessarily have to have one that has a twist in the right place, because I can tell the grease weasel to use drive B even if I have no drive A. Or maybe what I'll do is I'll use this drive to create them, and we'll recap another drive and test them there. But anyways, I'll see if I can't create a small set of floppy disks so we can actually install some software from floppy drives. That's a good way to test them. And we'll continue with the 5150 on Thursday. So don't forget to smash that like button if you like it when I repair these old computers. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when I go live next. Don't forget, I do have my coffee goal. Link is in the description. I'm hoping to get my video editing computer, my new to me video editing computer built sooner rather than later, and I'm planning on making a video on that somehow. The plan will probably be clearer once I have a new to me video editing computer to edit the video on. How about that? And yeah, with that, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Hope to see you all here Thursday. So thanks for hanging out in the chat, being cool. Yeah, I've got a nice cool room to go up to, Thomas. After I get some water to drink, I will go up to my cool room and cool down for a few moments and then go to bed. But yeah, I hope to see you all here Thursday. Until then, well, Roar will protect the basement. And yeah, hope you all have a great rest of your day. Take care and God bless. Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. Don't forget to smash that like button. And if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or live stream. And as always, thank you for all your support. I hope to see you next time. And until then, take care.